is Tracy Leela with soul2soul.ca, and today I wanted to just talk really quickly about what happens in the 12th house before your birth. Um, I think this is such an interesting topic, and it really helps to play into the darkness and the pain as I'm smiling of the 12th house. So if you are a 12th house placement, I suggest that you talk to your mom, or if your mom's passed on, talk to somebody that would know about what your mom went through in the 12th house, or went through herself before you were born, right before your birth. Now, before we get into it, I want to encourage you to subscribe, to like the video, to turn on your notifications, and your engagement, please know it really does help my channel grow. It helps me to reach more people, which helps me to help more people in need of healing. If you want to learn more about me and my readings, if you want to book a reading or learn about the events that I have going on, future events, please visit soul2soul.ca. Okay. So the 12th house represents the experience that your mother had before you took your first breath. And when we look at the 12th house, it's right before the first house. And the first house marks your rising sign. And your rising sign is marked by your time of birth. So it's that first breath that you took as you came out of your mother's womb. And breathed life. That marks your birth chart. That marks your rising sign. That marks your ascendant, the degree of your ascendant. That marks your physical self here in a physical body, about to live out a physical experience. And so if we look at where the first house is, and the 12th house being just above it, it shows, the 12th house shows as it's birthing into the first house, the 12th house being so dark, being so hidden. It really represents and showcases what's going on within a woman's body in the womb as a child is growing. Over 9 months that a woman carries a child within her womb, it's a very hard experience. I mean, there's some women that just love the experience, but it's hard. That baby, that development, that growth of that soul now entering into a physical form that's growing and developing within another human body. That's some pretty dark and deep shit that's like, whoa, 12th house, right? So if you don't have 12th house placements, guaranteed your mother had a pretty easy childbirth, had a pretty easy time before she gave birth to you. The hours leading up, the days leading up. If your mother had a very hard childbirth, a very hard and lengthy detrimental time before you had your birth, most likely that child would have 12th house placements. And it's just phenomenal, I think, how reflective that is. And I'm going to share with you my story. But I encourage you to, if you have 12th house placements, to ask about what was the childbirth like for my mom? You know, what was the childbirth like for you? And you know, if she's not around, I had to ask my aunt to find out what my mom went through when she was, before she delivered me, because I got an array of planets, and I never asked my mom before she passed. So I didn't know. You think that I'm connected with spirit, with a medium, that I could just go to my mom and ask the answer, but it doesn't work like that. You know, some people, I'm going off a little bit here, but some people think that because you're connected with spirit so closely that you got all the answers. You know how we just want the answers in like a bright flashing light? Spirit doesn't give me the answers like that. I still have to utilize my spiritual senses to tune in and try to figure it out on my own, because if I go to them and ask them for the specific answers, my guide will fuck me up. As much as there is unconditional love, he will be really hard on me until I learn my lesson that I just need to trust and have faith. So there's a little side lesson for you. Okay, so my story. My mother, I found out I was breech. And the other fun fact about the 12th house being so dark and with jail, and I mean, that comes with like crime, that comes with hard childhood trauma and experiences that lead you in a dark path of life, that lead you into jail. I was delivered by a drug dealer. Me and my brother, we were delivered by a Filipino drug dealer. He was like the family doctor for all the Filipino people in Vancouver. And I found out later by another Filipino who knew this doctor that he was hustling drugs, medication, selling it, among other hard drugs, selling it. And he delivered myself. He delivered my brother. I don't know if my brother has 12th house placements. But I was breached and delivered by a drug dealer, which I found very fascinating considering the 12th house placements. My father also changed my name at the moment that I was birthed. And I feel like that's a lot of significance too, because with having the sun in the 12th house, and it was right, my sun and my moon are in conjunction, pretty close in conjunction, within a couple degrees. So that represents the father and the mother in the 12th house, that there's a dominance where my father, in that moment of birth, he changed my name. And so, I found that very interesting. So my son, I also have my son has Jupiter and Uranus in his 12th house. Now, isn't he blessed? People who have Jupiter in their 12th house, you wait till I get to Jupiter. We're going to fly through those videos so fast, because you are blessed if you have Jupiter in the 12th house. People who have Jupiter, I'm just going to give you a little tidbit of information before we get to that later in the year. But people with Jupiter in the 12th house are blessed with the spiritual gifts that are given to you as a 12th house person without having to face the pain of 12th house content. They're like exempt. Jupiter, planet of blessings, is exempt from 12th house pain, but yet gets to reap the benefits of the spiritual blessings. Now, I'm so grateful that my son has Jupiter in the 12th house, but I am, and I have to admit this, real, raw, authentic, and transparent. I'm a little bit jealous of those people that have Jupiter in the 12th house. I'll just put it like that. That's a nicer version. I won't give you the full 12th house content of how I really feel. But yeah, Jupiter, he has Jupiter and Uranus in the 12th. And Jupiter is expansive. It can expand in a good way. It also can expand in a very not so good way. Okay? If it's not placed. And being in the 12th house, it's expansive. So it kind of expanded my birth, my delivery. I was already 7 days late. 7 days late. I was 10 days late. My son was 7 days, a week late. He did not want to come out. And I had to be induced. So there's an expansion. It was just like, it had to happen. And then it was like waiting out. So that, makes sense with Jupiter. And then I wasn't dilating. I was stuck at 2 centimeters. And it was my ex-husband kept scaring me about having a C-section, saying that they're gonna mutilate you, they're gonna mash up your stomach, he says. And I'm thinking, oh God, I don't want that. Like, this is my first child. I don't want them cutting me open and mashing up my stomach. Like, I'm already scared as it is. Like, I don't deal with pain very well. And then it was like emergency C-section, Uranus. So 7 days late, drawn out, have to go to the hospital, be induced, expanded. The contractions go from 0 to 100 like that. when you are induced. There's no buildup. So it was just like Uranus and Jupiter, just boom, this is happening. And then C section, boom, get him out. He has to be out. Spontaneous, in the moment, out of the blue, unexpected. That's Uranus. Okay, so it's incredible. I just wanted to share this information about the 12th house and how it really does represent the time that and the excruciating time, because it's painful. Childbirth is painful. Every experience is painful. It's painful physically, mentally, emotionally, and unless you have delivered a child, you do not know what it feels like or experience it. And with that said, every experience of childbirth is different in its own. So we can never really relate to another woman's experience of childbirth, but we can find a commonality and a comfort in sharing our experiences with one another. That's key. But how phenomenal that the pain is reflective of the 12th house and the birth of what's happening before that first breath into your first house, into your rising sign. And so I'll leave you with that. Till next time.